you could say I've been worried about collapse for a long time, you know. And one of the things that really kind of vexes me is the idea of like how to keep ideas into the future. I'm making video and stuff like that. I do stuff like that on occasion. I've been known to make video on occasion, and that's great today. It's great today, and probably for the next 10 years or so. But it needs something a little more long term. And what you're looking at here, this is Sumi. By no means great. This is just me messing around with learning how the brush makes lines and stuff. And you use a brush like this. It has a nice fine tip at the end, and you dip it in Sumi ink. Now, a lot of people use liquid inks, but I'm not one of those people. I like the more traditional this kind of ink. And you use a stone like this, and one of these will last forever, essentially. And one of these will last years and years if you're using it pretty constantly. I don't know, like, it hasn't changed size very much at all the whole time I've been using it, and I've used it quite a bit. So I don't know how long one of these will last, but I'm pretty confident a pack of 10 of these will last at least a decade. And how they're made, it's with candles. Basically, you burn like oils or wax, and you have a dish on top that collects the soot, and you want that partial burning where it leaves a lot of soot, and then you take the little dish that's on top where it's collecting the soot and you brush it out. In Western traditions, they would make a lamp black out of that, but they mix it with animal hide glue and turn it into this. It keeps forever, basically, and then you just activate it by putting a little bit of water in the dish and then going in circles. It takes a long time to make the ink, but you can make a little batch of it and keep it around. I've had this for like 2 weeks. The ink's still good. It has a smell. It's fine, it's no big deal. But you'll notice, like, the writing sucks. The writing is terrible. It's hard to actually make letters. It makes sense why the kanji are the way they are with how the tools they use, because when you're making like 100 little strokes to write a sentence versus like writing like 30 strokes, it makes a big difference, and getting straight lines is actually really difficult, and those little curves, it's kind of hard. So I was really frustrated with this situation. So I wanted to get something that works with this, and I was like, well, dip pen would probably work. And so I started going down the dip pen rabbit hole, and I picked up the set, the Leader trial pen set. That's what the pen actually looks like. So it was suggested on Amazon when I looked up dip pens. Did some research online. Apparently this is the common kind of pen. This specific nib is a G nib, and this one is a Maru, and was this one. And then this one is what? I don't know. Saji. Okay. So this is the Saji. Maybe I'm confused those. I don't know. But I tried them all out. I don't like this one. This little one. It sucks. It might be my paper. It might be my paper. But this one's pretty good. It holds a lot of ink. Get pretty consistent line width. It's a bit harder to get dynamic movement. This one is really nice for dynamic movement of the line, like getting thicker and thinner lines. But this works perfectly well with this kind of ink, which is what I wanted it for. So after a little bit of experimentation with and getting different tones, I ended up getting the pens, and this is the kind of writing it was. And here we have a bit of my first experiment into color. Now I have these powders, mica powders, from when I was making soap. I bought a bunch of them, but after making all the soap that I made, I still had a shit ton, and I wasn't going to be using it to make soap anytime soon because I have a lot of soap now. You make soap for a week, experimenting with different ways of making soap, and you'll have too much soap. Even after giving a lot of it away, I still have like 3 or 4 years worth of soap. So I'm doing a little bit of experiment here with color. And so I just tried mixing the mica powder with the water. This was a silly idea. It doesn't work, as you can see. All this smudging comes. Like, it made some really nice velvety kind of lines, and because it scratched it in, you have the lines where like the mica powder gets stuck. But it's not great. Like if I do this, even after months of it sitting here, it's still just powder on paper, so it just comes right off. And I was thinking about it. I was thinking about how this works for a while, and I don't have animal hide glue. That's ridiculous. But gelatin is basically animal hide glue. So I started to think I could probably make these sumi sticks out of it. So at this point I started to experiment with that. It takes time to dry these sticks. They take time to dry. They traditionally wait like 6 months. I don't think that's necessary with the mica powder though. Anyway, so I first started it. By then I was like testing and got my first one done. And as you can see, it doesn't rub off. This has been here for a while. It's my first little experiment, and after this was a success, it kind of got like a nice gel pen almost, and textured. After this was a success, I decided to go all in on it. That's when the famous writing here happened. It's got some other colors, and started wanting to be more deliberate about my practicing with my art, because this is garbage. This is all garbage. This is a little bit better, but you know, doing a bit more practicing, trying to do posing, trying to get that down. Because once I started getting down the rabbit hole of like doing inks and stuff like that, I wanted to become better at like using the tools. We have like some tests of the different colors. And here's all the sticks. Here's all the sticks. That's what they look like. They're hard. They don't clack as cleanly as this one does. This one has a higher pitch click, so I think it's a higher density than these. But also the particle size on this, the particle sizes are pretty big. So it's tiny compared to mica. Like, we're talking a factor of 1,000 difference between the two. So it's not like the ideal pigment, but it gives you a nice set of colors, just mixing different mica powders, and they'll last a hell of a long time. So got all these. This is some of the examples. You know, doing little experiments with it, because this is pretty thin, but the current set of this color is right here, and this is just that mica powder. It's kind of jelly because I've been mixing it a lot thicker than I was previously. And it's so thick, in fact, that it's not great for writing with a pen, but that's kind of intentional. So I just put a little bit there, get a little bit of water, add a little bit of water to it, and brush it on. I'm not doing a whole lot because I'm just showing it. But yeah, like this is too thick to really use with the pen. But that was not enough. Yeah. Let's try. It's got a little bit of water on it already, so. I don't know, I think there's some black in there or something. Why is it not working? Let's just dip it in. Could be because it's too thick. Yeah, it is too thick. Let's actually make some ink instead of just trying to make like a tiny amount. Yeah, there must have been some black in there. I mix shades in here sometimes, so. We could also do that if you want to do that, yeah. What you want me to call this right now? Okay. Well, Mr. Sugar, is there anything you can do Okay, thank you for the energy. Now it's too thin. But it takes a little bit of practice to get the mixing and stuff right. But the reason I've been doing it thick like this, though, is because I wanted to start doing some experiments with cells. The first test I had like basically normal ink that I had been writing with, which is pretty thin. Put this in here. It's just another little thing. So this is my first little test on there, and so I started off with doing a sketch on paper. Just did the lines, and then after I had the lines and I put it on top and tried to do it with the black ink. But if you look here, you get like all these like thin places and thick places. It's like even not adhering to the, I don't know if you can see that. The paint is floating. There's like a gap between the paint and the plastic. So the line work is still on the back side here, which I realize is kind of a mistake, but even so, it's like all this black here, it's pulled up because it was too thin to do a good job. So pretty frustrating situation. I like how the colors turned out, but I mixed a little bit thicker and then tried doing these thinner lines, and it worked a lot better, but you know, already kind of fucked up. But after doing that, I wanted to go back to like doing some other things. I wanted to get better at, basically I wanted to do some anime studies, to get some things down. So I made some mayuis, some hachiguchis, to work on my line work a little bit. So I sketched these first, sketch them, then do the line work, then do a little bit of coloring. The color is bad. It got muddy because it's mixing with the black, and it's actually this yellow over here. This one here, it's a pale yellow. It's the same color that's here and here, here. They're all the same color, but just various. Same here and here. And it's so fragile. Like if it touches anything else, it just immediately changes and becomes gray and gross. But you know, a little bit of practice. Then I did another little sketch, and you got this. Where is it at? Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. This little sketch, and then I wanted to do another cell to see what my progress is on doing the cells, and so this one turned out a lot better. So the line work is on the front this time. The black is on the side facing here, so did that, then flipped it over, and this time I was a lot more careful. The ink is a lot thicker. Basically, I would go to grind it until it becomes roughly the consistency of a pen on paper, and then I would go twice as long as that, and that's how long I would go. It's almost goopy when it's ready for this, and it's a little scuffed, but the way the colors look just looks good, in my opinion. And with the ink, the colored ink, I go until it becomes this gel, basically, very, very thick. This one's a little thinner, but I want to get a really good example. You see how it's like there's the separate a little bit, but the back there is, you know, just sliding in one big mass. Look at the yellow. And this is that yellow again. It's like you'd think it'd be more yellow, but this one's pretty solid. So this is the consistency. I don't really add much water to it. I just mix it up until it becomes like a more. I might have to add actually water to this one. You can just add like a little drop of water if it needs it, but yeah, probably would. But this is how much I mixed it. It just sat overnight and became like this. And it dries pretty quickly when it's like this on the plastic, which is a bit of a mixed blessing, I would say. But you get these really flat colors on it, which is great, you know. So even though the world may collapse, we can still have anime probably. Just have to become good at drawing, which easier said than done. It takes a lot of effort to become good at drawing. But there was some interest in what I've been up to. So now you're up to date. I've been drawing hachikuchis and frames from hentai on cells.